But it's all this thing, you with G-Eazy. I don't know. It feels very, and I'm praying for him. I could legit look at both of you and say, I'm praying for him. It feels very Lecrae-ish. Are we going down the same path? You guys help me. I mean, I know you're no fans of Christian rap, for the most part, but do I have a reason to be concerned after what we just heard that guy talk about? Like, you get to a certain level and you start thinking that you're influencing them, and all of a sudden they're starting to rub off on you. Hey, welcome to Not a Fit Podcast. It's your boy, Anthony Chicano. What's going on, guys? Oh, before you say anything, I need to get the world's longest Raiders going right there. Are you going to take back? We're going to get that 8th win.
Oh my God, such a Raiders fan. Absolutely ridiculous.
Did you think I wasn't going to start off the podcast? Matter of fact, put in the comments if you're a Raider fan. Go Raiders, or just type it out, Raiders. Okay.
We've never started with all of our teams winning again.
I know. This feels real good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Whoever loses first has got to buy the rest of his lunch. Who do I play this weekend? I better look this up. I'm not playing the Broncos, am I? I play the Chargers? Dang it. Who do you guys got?
I don't know.
Dang it. Who do you guys?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't ever know who you play.
I don't know who we played yesterday.
Okay. So listen. So if I lose first, I'll bring you guys lunch.
Okay. I like that deal.
Okay. But if you lose on Thursday, you just better plan on Monday. Whoever loses first.
Oh, no. I just like the deal where you said when you lose, you can bring us lunch.
Oh, welcome to Not a Fit Podcast. We talk about everything. I had to start off that way. Thank you for hitting the like, the comments, and the shares. We appreciate everything. Thank you for everybody tuning in last week. We had a good topic we wanted to talk about, but we got to get right to it. I know we joked around, jumped in on the football, but by the way, I will say something, Mike. I need you to start wearing your Oregon Ducks hat because they look real good. Just so you know, just because I'm looking out for you. I don't want nobody to watch this podcast when you guys are 10 wins in, looking like number 4th team in the nation. I don't want nobody going, who's that guy think he is? You know he ain't never liked Oregon. I know you've been repping Oregon since the day I met you. So just wear the hat every week until you guys lose, okay? So and hopefully you guys get to the playoffs, all right? But they look good. Your Alabama team, the dominance is gone. The thrill is gone. So what bandwagon are you going to jump on now?
Oh, I'm a Michigan fan.
Okay. Oh, they're really gone. Yeah, you go back to Alabama.
There's room on the bandwagon for Michigan fans.
There's room on
right
Michigan
now.
bandwagon. It was bad. It was not like it. You lost to the Sooners, Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, Oklahoma's a good, they're good.
No, you couldn't score.
Yeah. That's, okay.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to score.
It's a good program. Michigan has their ups and downs.
Okay.
Right. It's still the big house.
I think their coach is suspended right now.
What do you do?
He didn't do anything. Harbaugh did it, and he got suspended for it.
Oh, okay. There you go. We got to take the fall for somebody. There you go. Well, I want to jump right into it. I want to get to something. I'm going to jump right into what is trending only because it involves us in the Valley. Did you guys know that Charlie Kirk was coming to Visalia? Did you guys know that?
Yes, I think he already came a while ago.
No, he did. This was last week. He did.
Okay.
But did you know he was coming?
Yes.
Did you know? Can I ask you, do you know why he was here in the Central Valley? For those of you who don't know, we're in the Central Valley. I would say Northern Cal, but I got corrected by everybody. People who didn't even know me stopped me and told me we are Central Valley, just so you know. So we're in the Fresno area, Visalia. Is that about 40 miles south of us? 40 miles or so? He was in Visalia. But did you know why Charlie Kirk, who everybody knows in America, do you know why he was here, though?
No.
Abortion, setting against abortion or something like that.
It was right to life, right?
Right to life, yeah,
okay.
There you go.
So what I thought was interesting was there was this big hype and hoopla, why is he coming? And then, of course, there was this protest. But what I thought I would do is I'd show you how the local news covered it. And then I want to just ask you guys' thoughts on how you feel like they covered it. Does that make sense? I just kind of want to get your thoughts. Because I feel like everything gets politicized and we miss the message behind why he was even here and what he was even doing. Does that make sense? So I just want you to watch it, and I just want you to tell me if you felt like it was fair. Watch this.
The South Valley National Conservative Speaker Charlie Kirk made an appearance in Visalia in front of a sold-out crowd.
YourCentralValley.com digital reporter Marco Rosas talked with supporters and protesters.
We sold out!
For the first time, Tulare King's Resource for Life's event, Advancing the Mission, was completely sold out.
We have hosted this event for 40 years, and we just wanted to make sure people could come and hear what Tulare King's Resources for Life is really about.
Hundreds of people gathered outside Visalia First Assembly Church, waiting for keynote speaker Charlie Kirk.
My body, my choice. I'm the one who has a voice. My body, my choice. I'm the one who has a voice.
But not everyone outside the church was there in support.
I am definitely very, very, very nervous, but I'm also very excited to open up these conversations and see the amount of change we bring with just one protest.
In the weeks leading up to the event, Yoselin told our station that Charlie Kirk should not be welcomed in Visalia. On the day of the event, protesters joined her outside Visalia First,
Abortion is a human right.
echoing the same message and face-to-face with Kirk supporters and Visalia PD.
I don't believe that Visalia PD being here is necessary, but I do respect them being here. I really do respect that our police force showed up and showed out. As long as they remain neutral between both sides and take care of both sides, that's all I want.
Inside Visalia First, Kirk shared his own thoughts on protesters outside.
You guys need better protesters. I'm going to talk about that. Why not do something actually good for the world other than just sitting on a street corner with a sign that is very hard to read?
In the end, despite the verbal jabs, both crowds walked away, albeit with mixed reviews on the night's keynote speaker.
I'm excited to be here because I believe him to be an evangelical Christian, a Bible-believing person who recognizes himself, first of all, as a sinner in need of a Savior.
Yeah, for UCentralValley.com, I'm Marco Rosas.
Okay, so what's your first thoughts? How do you think they covered that?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was neutral. I didn't see any issue with it.
Yeah. What about you? How do you think they covered it?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit. They're probably a little bit more in the middle than they usually are.
Okay.
As far as like your ABC, CBS, NBC. So I don't think I really had an issue with that.
Yeah. What did you guys think? I actually thought, this is my personal opinion, I actually thought they did a fair job on that. I think the soundbite clips could have been a little different, but whatever. I mean, you got Charlie Kirk here. You know, you're going to have to clip something that is a little controversial. My question is, and this is my thought, they said 47 years they've been throwing this event, and this is the first time they're protested. What was your thought when she said that?
Yeah, that's a long time. But yeah, I mean,
that's almost as old as me, Deshaun. Just so you know, that's almost. I too was young 47 years ago. Yeah. So you weren't born. I was born though, but I was 2. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Why do you think they protested now? What do you think it was?
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
because of him. Yeah.
What did you think when they said 47 years they haven't protested, and now all of a sudden Charlie's here and they got to go do it?
Oh, is the problem? What's the problem? Is the problem or is the problem Charlie?
The problem's Charlie. I mean, when you say that was
yeah, 46 years of the same thing, and then all of a sudden you want to protest it.
Now, is that because it's just politicized? It's just Charlie Kirk, and why not? That way we can get it out there.
Yeah, I mean, and he brings controversy. Like, he likes it. So you're saying like the stuff he clips that stuff himself.
Oh, for sure.
If you go to his channel, he likes that stuff, and so that's some stuff that he does I don't like, or some stuff he says I really don't care for either. Some of his political views, the way he goes about things, I don't like all the time. So I think he wants more of an argument and wants to fight sometimes more. And so we have the same views, but I don't like the way he goes about it.
What I don't get is the young girl, Yoselin, I think she said her name was, she was like, hey, I hope this opens up dialogue for a conversation. Go ahead. What were you going to think?
Well, I just thought that was funny too. She's like, but we don't want them to be here.
Yeah.
This is from like,
how do you talk? How do you talk to somebody if they're not there?
A phone call. Of a phone conversation.
I don't understand. Help me to understand. Maybe I missed a memo of some sort. But what changed in California when it came to abortions? What changed? I didn't understand why they were protesting for. You are still free to do whatever it is you was doing. Am I wrong? I mean,
yeah. No,
our Planned Parenthood ain't shut down. I mean, it's still funded. You know what I mean? Like, I help me to understand. I don't know what we were discussing. They kept saying, my body, my choice. Actually, it is. Go ahead. You was already doing what you was doing. Ain't nobody stopping you still. Does that make sense? I don't understand why you protesting. Like, I actually agree with them. We go do something positive. Go do something else, because nothing changed in California. Matter of fact, it was our governor. Are we claiming him? We have to claim him while he's ours, whether we like it or not. He was the one telling people they can come over here. We'll help you. We'll finance it. We'll get you taken care of. Our governor.
he's ours.
He's ours for 2 more years. We're stuck. So, but that's what I don't understand. That's why I didn't have a problem. I know that was a jab, but I didn't have a problem with them saying that because it's like nothing changed in California. Now other states have changed. We get that. So take yourself to the other state and go protest. Oh, nobody's got money for that. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's I didn't get it. I just was like, but hey, it was a good piece to cover. It got a lot of run on social media. Charlie Kirk in town. So a lot of people got to talk about it. So.
Well, I mean, I think this is one of those things where, everybody was almost out for themselves.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Charlie, he says stuff that's super out there so that you click on his stuff and you come, and then you have the gal and her friends who are out there protesting, but it's been going on for 46 years. So what are you really out there for? It makes you look good. Then
you get to write off Charlie's coattails. You get to say, "Hey, you protested."
Yeah,
Charlie
and then
Kirk.
she got on TV, and then you also have CBS, and they're like, "This is fantastic." Now you're gonna have more clickbait for us.
250 shares and 1,000 comments.
And like you said, but really nothing changed. Nothing's happening.
No.
Same thing for them for 47 years. And then for Planned Parenthood and everybody else, like nothing else changed.
No. So I want to bring up something else. Thanks for chiming in. But hey, that's the Central Valley for you, right? I don't know what to do with this clip. I'm bringing it to you guys. Is anybody here familiar with the game? I know it's a bad word, but BS. You guys familiar with that game? Okay, you familiar?
Yes.
No. I expect you not to be familiar because that was not on in your household.
No, I'm assuming I know what it is.
You're just lying about the cards in your hand.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Okay.
And so every now and then I'll come across a clip and I'm like, man, it's one of those ones where it's like you go, I just feel like I feel like this is some truth to it. But there's that little bit of a hesitancy, like, but this could be the BS, right? And the reason I'm going to show you this clip is because I've got a Miles Minnick type of question for you guys. Okay, so just I needed to put that in your head though, so when you watch this, because this clip is trending really big right now, really, really, really big. And then I just want to follow that back up because Lecrae dropped his album, Miles dropped his album. He's got G-Eazy on it. He's got a video with G-Eazy. So just stick with me, okay? So it's a 2-part clip. Just watch this clip right here.
You had an encounter with the devil?
Yeah, I got booked for a photo shoot. They took me all the way up this mountain. I was on top of the mountain. We finished the photo shoot. They have OD cars. Like, they got a 3-seater McLaren. They got a Ferrari. And I'm asking them, like, how y'all get all this money? They're like, we do demonic rituals. I'm laughing. No, you don't, bro. I'm like, how you get this money? Don't put me on. I'm trying to get like y'all. Like, nah, we do demonic rituals. I say, so what type of demonic rituals? He say, the Illuminati never talk to you. I'm laughing. I'm still laughing at him. Why y'all playing with me? How y'all getting this money? They're like, no, for real. Leonardo DiCaprio do all the initiation. I'm like, what? I'm like, who is that? What is you talking about, gang? He giving me a list of people who all did. I'm gonna keep it PG-13. He was basically saying, either you let them peg you or you do oral and you'll get whatever you want. Tell them what you want. If you want to be the next big actress, next big whoever, I can take you to somebody. And all you gotta let them do is do what they want to do to you just for a night. That's what he was telling me. I'm like, hell no, I'm playing. So I'm still not trying to believe this. Now, while they doing all this, I'm trying to call my Uber. We on top of the mountain though. I don't got no service. The people who booked me left. After they leave, I'm in the car with the other dude that they called up to have a photo shoot with me. I get in the car with him in the 3-seater McLaren. See, on the way up, we go all the way up in the swivel, like all the way around the mountain. Yeah. On the way down, we take a right. So he not going the same way that we came up. I'm like, what the hell? So then that's what I try. I'm like, take me to go get some McDonald's, gang. He said, we not gonna take you to get no McDonald's. We spent all this money to get you up here. This face changed, gang. In front of me. You see Venom? Kind of like that. His face is probably about this wide. Like, face changed. I'm like, what the? Like, it's probably about like right here. Like, it threw me all the way off. I didn't know how to get out of the car. I would have been got out of the car. We in the 3-seater McLaren, so it's like a button you gotta push to get up out of there. Gotcha. Now he backing into somebody's driveway. He smack a mailbox. Now he hit the button and he get up out of there. I see the button. I'm getting up out of there too. I hit the button. Guess what? It's a mailman come out of nowhere. I run up to him. I'm like, hey, bro, we getting back your truck. He looking at me like, bro, damn. No. I look at him. I'm like, bro, just let me get in the back of your truck. Bro, like, please, just take me down to the bottom. Please, just take me down to the bottom. It was God. He took me down to the bottom. And I called an Uber and I just left. And the people on camera, you ain't got to believe me. I don't care. I'm not lying. I really saw this.
I believe it.
That's what like made me know that the devil and God was real.
You saw the darkness.
I seen it.
And now you're in the light. but Jesus.
This is why I have to use my influence for good. Like, how you doing?
So, well, your first thoughts. By the way, if I could just say this, he's not the first rapper to talk about in order to get signed to a major label or something, you got to do something very suspect, compromise, part of rituals, all sorts of things. He's not the first one to blow the whistle on this. So I'm just saying this thing, for whatever reason, it started trending really, really big. But what was your first thoughts of that?
I'll probably look him up some more to hear more, even at this interview of this story. I mean, because he seems very genuine. Like he got me almost convinced that.
What would be his Listen, what would be his motive?
Yeah, I don't know.
For lying, if he lied, nobody's gonna.
I would say maybe his motive is that people would be intrigued with this interview.
And so listen to his music.
So like Deshaun just said it like I'm gonna go look him up. Right.
Okay. But at the end of the day, you're gonna seem kind of suspect if you're kind of like making this up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna lose a lot of credibility.
Yeah, but he also didn't describe like too much detail to where somebody could kind of come out against him. But I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying I don't believe him. He definitely seems pretty genuine. I don't know who he is, but
can I ask you guys a question? Do you feel, and if you were a betting man, so to say, just like how much do you feel it this way, that in order for some of these artists to get to where they are, they had to sell out in some way, somehow?
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at was it Epstein? I always mix the two up. The one that was in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Like he never denied the stuff he made people do. He just says, I didn't force them to.
No, not Epstein. The other dude.
Yeah, the other dude, the one in Hollywood.
No, the director.
Oh, you're talking about Weinstein.
Weinstein. Like all the stuff that he did with people. But he just says, I didn't force people to do it, but these things actually happened.
Okay.
Because they said if you want to make these big movies, it was through him. And so this stuff does happen.
Weinstein.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, so we know it happens.
Well, do you feel like there's a certain aspect of I mean, can I just say, I felt like that's what the whole Diddy thing was about. Like the Diddy being exposed and stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that there's probably a lot smaller percentage of people who don't have to do crazy things. Now, what they actually have to do in order to get a job or in order to stay on a show, stay on a label, like what they have to do, I think there's probably a lot of differences in that. But I think like when you talk about selling out in the sense of there is probably some level of things that people have to do in order to stay.
Okay, the reason I'm asking, and I really do like Miles Minnick. Like I love his music. I've met him. I like him. He was really cool. There wasn't no arrogance about him. My biggest concern is, and I would tell him this if I had his number. I would sit him down. I would tell him like, bro, what I'm seeing though is like you're literally taking those same steps Lecrae did. And Lecrae was all about, I could play the background, Andy Mineo, all this stuff. Next thing you know, he's doing a feature. Then he's doing a cypher. And then next thing you know, he's on stage. And we go up with the best of intentions, right? We're going up to present the gospel to a crowd that wouldn't normally hear it. And we have the best of intentions and we have the worst of results. Instead of people getting changed, we change. And so now, can I just show you something? Can I just show you, this is why I let it this far, is I'm going to show you a clip that Miles Minnick did a song with G-Eazy. He's a rapper he's had big hits, Baby Rexha, Cardi B. Cardi B was one of his biggest hits. So this guy's clearly out there in the world, and he's doing a collab with him. And I understand that Miles is trying to reach G-Eazy. I get that. He was just in Fresno. G-Eazy was, but I understand he's trying to reach him. But I think in a world full of Magic Johnsons and all the other Laker people, it was very hard to be, do you know?
AC Green.
AC Green. And it's a special person, the AC Greens and the Tim Tebows, and they also know their limits. They also know when they have to tap out. And so I just want you to watch this video. This is a little clip from Miles and G-Eazy on the collaboration. Watch this.
Outside in the hills, lit up, flashlight. I'm a light to the city, and you gotta see it. You can't top that, you might have took it ill. This is not that. From the bay to the university telephone, but everywhere it's not too many places like home. Straight to the necklace, straight to the dome. If he need a verse from G, get Ace on the phone. Confirm what I thought, he said Miles is legit. I walked barefoot 100 miles before I quit. Since I was just a shorty, still remember when I got my first verse from 40.
Okay.
What, you wouldn't play that at church? Like what? You don't think that's...
I'd play it. I like the song. My concern is we go from his first album and, you know, he's doing the different videos to now we're going to, he's in, I don't want to get in trouble. I call it a wife beater, the tank top, but it was called a what?
What?
Slingshot. Okay.
Wait,
it
what?
It has all undershirt. Slingshot.
Wait,
yeah.
what is that?
It's just another term for it, but what did you say it was called?
That's like prison.
yeah.
Where you hear that one at?
Not prison, but
That's either a prison term or you got to be over or you got to be over 45.
Okay. But what did you say? What did you say you called those undershirts because you got in trouble for it? What?
No, it's a tank top.
It's tank
or
top.
it's like I think it may be an A shirt. I think
Okay.
actually in the store or something like that. Too.
So my point is, now he's rapping in that. He's in his big old mansion. It's either a Cutlass or a Monte Carlo in the background, looking on like some like 27s right there. But it's all this thing. You with G-Eazy. I don't know. It feels very, and I'm praying for him. I could legit look at both of you and say I'm praying for him. It feels very Lecrae-ish. Are we going down the same path? You guys help me. I mean, I know you're no fans of Christian rap, you know, for the most part, but do I have a reason to be concerned after what we just heard that guy talk about? Like, you get to a certain level and you start think that you're influencing them and all of a sudden they're starting to rub off on you. Am I wrong in that, Bishop? Or do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of anything in business, you get to a certain level of like wealth or being known, you're going to need more accountability because you don't have to answer to anyone. You can do whatever you want to do. And everyone's there to support you because they want to get on that money. They want to get on that fame. And so it becomes harder to be held accountable for those things. Then on top of that, Christian rap, I don't think is going to help you get closer to Jesus in that way as a rapper. Rap, I think as a style, is me focused. So it's going to be hard. Not to say that some rap can lead people to Jesus, but I think it's going to be very difficult to stay focused on Christ as you continue to grow as a Christian rapper.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Mike?
I think when it comes to the entertainment industry, there's this, I got to get there. And then once you get there, how do I stay there? And I think that's what we see with a lot of these guys is that they were talented enough to get there and they were able to do kind of things on their own terms in order to get there. But then once they make it, once they sign, now they're having to do what other people are telling them to do in order to stay there.
Okay.
Like, okay, here's the contract. You really want the money? Hey, you really want the shows? You really want it? This is what you're going to have to do to stay here. Because if not, then you go back to doing small shows. You go back to selling, you know, your shirts on the street and things like that in order to make money, and hustling for your, you know, your brand.
So he was on The Breakfast Club. He was on Sway. He who's the big one down in L.A.? Big Boy. Big Boy. He did Big Boy. Matter of fact, Big Boy does a little something on his album. He's with everybody who's anybody in the hip hop world. And my concern is that this wouldn't start to take over for him, and I would just say, you know, it's a little homie, you know, because a lot of times they come out and they're like, man, look at the people who criticize you. I ain't criticizing you, dog. Your music's good. I'm just concerned. You gotta learn the difference between concern and criticize. Criticize, I ain't out here doing nothing myself. Concerned is like, hey, bro, I've seen this before. And I don't know who your pastor is, and if you're saying accountable, because there's honeys out there, there's monies out there, there's all the things that can listen. If you start to think you can worship better than David, or you're stronger than Samson, or you're wiser than Solomon, that's on you then. But all three of those brothers were taken down by the same thing. So if you think that's really the case, then you need to check yourself. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times they say, no. People criticize because they ain't doing. I'm doing. I've been in the hood. This is where I cut my teeth. This is where I started. So it ain't no criticizing over here what I ain't doing. I'm already doing. And everybody who knows me will vouch for that. So ain't no blue sky over here. We knee deep in it. And we have been since the jump. So, you know, I look at all these other people like, man, y'all were still in diapers when I was doing what I was doing. And so to me, there's a big difference. It ain't criticizing. It's concern. It's legit concern. You know, you just got Lecrae coming back, which I don't even know. Like I said, I showed you the lyrics. I don't know if he still processes some things. But I'm saying I watched that whole cycle go there, and it's just, and if you ain't careful, it's going to be you too, because you start getting with all this stuff, it'll change you.
Yeah, but he doesn't see anything wrong with Lecrae.
Well, we don't. We've never interviewed, so I don't want to speculate. I'm just.
Well, I mean, your actions would show you.
No, I don't disagree with you, but I mean, I would need it firsthand. But maybe he does comment on that. But I'm just saying, you keep hanging out with these people. Okay, it's like what we said. You keep going to Diddy parties, you're going to start doing Diddy things. It's just nobody's strong enough. We've all admitted that nobody's strong enough. And so that's just my concern. But I really want to talk about this because you got people, and I would tell Miles, I agree with you. You got people who are critical. You do. They criticize everything you do, and yet they ain't doing nothing. I agree with you. Don't listen to those people. But the people who are trying to really look out for you and got concern for you because you're doing such a special thing.
Well, what is he doing?
Well, he is ministering to people who probably wouldn't be turning on Christian rap. He is sharing that gospel. He's been invited to several festivals, and he is sharing the gospel. I'm not arguing that.
Okay,
so,
I don't know much about him. So I mean, I personally haven't seen him share the gospel. But
but no, he is, and I'm happy for him. And he hasn't said anything that's compromised the gospel. I've listened to all the interviews. I don't just get up here and make. I actually take the time. My concern is you can only flirt with Delilah so long before she cuts your hair. That's all. That's where I'm at. That's just where I'm at. Like, hey man, you may want to just start praying through some things, considering some things. That's all I'm at. But I saw that clip of that guy talking about you got to sell out the industry. I got nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it was right when he dropped his album, and he's got all these people doing features, and I just that was just me. Maybe I was just being super spiritual. I don't know, but I just felt like I'm old enough. I've lived through these rappers already. You know, I've seen this cycle, and you just get caught up in that game. I don't know. So that was just me. Okay. So speaking of that, I do want to touch on a subject, but P. Mike over here, you had the pulpit this weekend, and I want to talk about the sermon, and then I want to bring up something we've been reading in the book of Luke. I want to talk about the faith of the centurion, but I am going to get back to being critical of the church. Okay. But I thought this was perfect timing because you talk about Acts 11 when we get introduced to people who are all about the church. So give people just a quick synopsis of what you talked about this weekend, and then tell us from your firsthand Monday morning quarterback over here what you felt you could have done better. Go ahead.
I focused on Acts 11, the second part, so 19 to 30, and the introduction of the Christian name,
right?
And the Church of Antioch, and talked about how, looking at that scripture, what stuck out to me was that they had to pay a cost. Mm-hmm. They had some good coaches in Barnabas and Saul, and that they had to make a choice on whether or not they were going to use their gifts. I mean, it said they ended up sending their gifts back to Jerusalem. Yep. So were they going to use their gifts? And so I talked about using our gifts in the church, so not just financial gifts, but that is a choice for us. And then there was one of the services I was able to elaborate a little bit more in regards to the choice, in it being like, as a choice, we have a choice of not allowing division into the church.
Okay.
And so I was able to elaborate that a little bit more on the third service, but that was the skinny of it. Now, how would I have graded myself?
Oh yeah, let's go.
I told my wife I'd give myself a solid B minus.
Oh, B minus.
I don't know, but it was
it the takeoff of the plane, landing of the plane, or was it turbulence all the way through?
No. I told Deshaun earlier, I just had too much. I had too much content. I had too much content. And I was trying to sift through it. I felt like by the third service, had I had a fourth service, I think I'd have given myself a B plus.
Well, when I go back and forth, you'd have had that fourth service.
Yeah, I think by the fourth service, I'd have had a B plus. But I was just trying to, like, how did I want to deliver it? I had just too much. So that I was critical of myself.
Oh, okay, critical of yourself. Okay, Bishop, what stood out to you? Would you give him a solid B minus, or you feel like it was a good B day right there?
It was good.
It's always hard to judge another sermon when you're going to be coming up too. It's like, oh man, I gotta go easy.
I mean, the thing I took away is just sort of just like the team, and just having a team around you, having coaches around you. I think it's part of it as a believer. You have to allow that to happen.
Okay.
And so really being intentional about that, of letting people into your life. I gave the example on Sunday. We don't talk directly like, mentor, but like Mike's a little bit ahead of me and having kids.
Right.
So I see a lot of stuff that he does or how he talks to his kids and like just to glean from that, like things I like and how to do it with my kids who are like, just a little bit younger. And so having people around you where you can just resources on how to live out this Christian life and just practical things in your everyday life. Like you want to buy your first house. Well, talk to someone who bought houses before. Like things like that God wants for you, having a team around you to help you.
Yeah, you really don't have to do life alone. And you really don't have to figure it out all by yourself. If you get the right crew around you, they're going to coach you up or they're going to have connections for you to be coached up. And I think that's so important. I liked your part about the cost. I think this is something that we strayed away from. It's something that it costs to wear the name. Like to be a sold out born again believer, that's going to cost you certain friends. It may even cost you a job. It definitely might even cost you some family. But there is a price to it. I did football season's here, so of course I'm going to go all in on the coaching part. So when you started talking about coaching, and you started talking about Paul and Barnabas and them just being coaches, but they did have a team of coaches that came through in Antioch and preached. It was one of those hubs where people would come through and preach. And I thought to myself, who coaches you matters. It really matters. Not that I need to bring up more football, but if you would just give me a second. Do you know Lincoln Riley? Does that name ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
Head coach for the USC Fight On Trojans. Did you know on Sunday he had 5 NFL starters that he coached on Sunday? There was the most of any program that
quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks.
Oh wow.
He had 5 quarterbacks in the NFL start on Sunday.
That's impressive.
There's only 32 teams.
Yeah, that's
super impressive. And so they said Lincoln can't build a defense to save his life. Shout out Oklahoma Sooners. They knew that very well. They said for all his flaws, he can develop a quarterback. Like he can really, really develop a quarterback. And I thought to myself, who coaches you matters. Who coaches you matters, right? And I thought about that. And my brain, because I'm a sports guy, I started thinking, who coaches you matters. Everybody who runs at Tampa 2, they may call it something else, but good old Kiffin, Monty Kiffin, right? His son was Lane Kiffin, of course, but Monty Kiffin and Tony Dungy, that Tampa 2, everybody stole that, right? Who coaches you matters. They were talking about it this weekend because the Niners coach Shanahan, his dad was, what was that?
Mike
Shanahan, right? So who was an offensive genius, right? And so then you're saying the son can they had a guy playing tight end, Tungsten, who'd never really played before, catches the game-winning touchdown. The guy, I think he had like 15 fantasy points. Nobody even knew you could draft him. You know what I mean? Like, it was incredible. It's like he didn't even know he was on the board to be drafted. Number 1 guy looked up on Monday, Tungsten, right? My point is, who coaches you? They're able to draw things out. They said this weekend about Pete Carroll. They said Pete Carroll has been known since he got back into the NFL because he had that stint with USC. They said he's been known to take DBs in the 2nd and 3rd round, and they talked a little bit about his formula. They got to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They got to be kind of lengthy, real long, Anyway, they started talking about this. I'm like, who coaches you matters. I took that back to your sermon because I thought, man, isn't this the truth? I go back to Paul and Barnabas again. Paul couldn't get no love in the club, right? When he goes back to Jerusalem, nobody wants to show him any love. I don't blame him. They're all scared of him, right? He's killing folks, right? And good old brother Barney B says, I see something in him, and becomes his first coach. Brings him in. He's accepted in the beloved. Who coaches you matters. And you didn't say this, but this is how my brain works. How can I be a better coach? Right? What can I do different? How could I coach? And it was funny is they brought up Pete Carroll's age yesterday, oldest coach in the league. Belichick would have been right behind him had he stayed in the league. Going to be 70. I think he's 73, going to be 74. And they said the guy's got more energy than these 50-year-old guys. And I watched him after a very bad sequence of plays, and he's not yelling at him. You know how some coaches do? You got the whole coach who throws the clipboard, throws the headphones, some of those good old fiery ball coaches. Not Pete. He's clapping. He's cheering him on. Hey, that was a good, hey, we did that well, but we got to get this fixed. Anyway, my point is, who coaches you matters. And I started watching that. And it started getting me thinking, like, what type of coach am I? How can I coach better? How can I get a 10 from every person who I interact with? Right? Mm-hmm. So easy to be critical, but it's a lot harder and a lot more work to be constructive. And so I just started thinking about that. And anyway, I don't know. So I wanted to ask you guys. So bro, when you said coaching, you know me. I was on a whole different field, right? If you could tell me, and for the people who listen to this podcast, Not a Fit Podcast, don't forget to like, share, comment. And matter of fact, you can leave this in the comment box. What makes a good coach a good coach? Give me an attribute, Mike Cook. What? And you can think of a childhood coach if you want to, but what made a good coach a good coach?
I mean, that's a very loaded question.
You could choose anything. I know it could be a whole list.
Just throwing one thing off the top, I would say a really good coach can take something that's very abstract and make it simple.
So he takes the complicated and makes it easy.
Yeah, and so that when you implement it, it makes a huge difference. And you're like, oh, that was easy. It was just something, but in reality, it was something that had a lot of layers to it. And so it affects you a lot more.
So would that be a gift of communication then?
A gift of communication, the gift of gift of teaching. Okay. But then also like the gift of, I don't know how you would say it, being able to understand people.
Got it.
So it's like well, I guess that is communication. It's knowing how to speak to different people.
Who your audience is.
Yeah. What does the ear listen to? How does that person receive it?
What about you, Bishop?
In terms of sports, I didn't care about sports enough to care about coaching. But in terms of the spiritual, like it's, that do they really care about me? Okay. Do they care about people? To me, I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, it's huge. Do you actually care about me? Care about my family? Because then they're willing to listen. Because a lot of times it's just like, I'm willing to let you speak into my life. I'm willing to let you challenge me if I know you actually care. Or you're just attacking me as a person, saying I suck at what I do. Or you're trying to get me to be better. And I think when they know that you care about them, they're willing to let you push them even farther.
Believe it or not, Coach Bowden for Florida State, that's what they said. They said they never met a person whose husband and wife loved you so much like family. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, when he passed, they said the amount of players that showed up with the same story. Mm-hmm. Coach Bowden loved me. Coach Bowden wanted to see me graduate. Mm-hmm. The point is, that's a principle that crosses all the boards. You got to love who you play with. And they have that saying in the league, are you a player's coach, right? Or are you a coach's coach? They always say that. And you always find players who love playing for a player's coach. And that's what people always said about Tony Dungy. That's why, what did Warren say? You got the Dungy, the Dungy 5 or whatever? You had the rules. Oh. Yeah, the Dungy 7 or whatever.
Out late.
Yeah. Nothing happens good after 10. Don't go home with that woman or something.
Something crazy, yeah.
But that's what makes a good coach a good coach. I want to repeat that. They are good teachers. They know how to communicate well. They love you as a person, not just what you're able to do. And can I throw one more out there? Because I think this is all very biblical. They lead by example. And this is all things Jesus. And I think some of the best coaches are those who have a deep faith, a rich faith, and who want to walk out that. Now, I'm going to go a step further. Even those coaches who don't have a deep or rich faith, I guarantee they have biblical principles. They may call it something else, but I guarantee they have biblical principles. And if you apply those biblical principles all across the board, you're going to be a winner. Because they work. Because Jesus set the tempo. Jesus set the standard, and that stuff works. Which leads, oh, by the way, put an attribute in the comments that you think a good coach has. Okay. Which leads me to reading in the Gospel of Luke. And I apologize. I probably should have looked it up, but I do believe it was like 7 or 8, the faith of the centurion. Do you guys happen to remember that chapter? Mm-hmm. Something stood out to me that I literally felt challenged and convicted. Does that ever happen to you? Challenged and convicted? Mm-hmm. Convicted because you're sucking, and challenged because you got to raise your game. You got to step your game up. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I'm reading the faith of the centurion again, and what blows me away is this comment, in all of Israel. Mm-hmm. In all of Israel.
Big faith.
Big faith. And I'm sitting here going, and maybe it's because I'm coming off the whole Cornelius thing, Acts 10, right? Maybe. But I'm sitting here going, he said in all of Israel, which was a slight-handed way of saying that includes John, and that includes the 12 guys I got with me right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, the rest of you guys.
Like, I didn't exclude y'all at all, Israel. I'm talking you too. And it's almost to say, and this is just me being me again, of course, just my own theatrics in my head. In a group full of Peters, James, and Johns, be a Roman centurion. And I literally could have wrote a whole sermon. My brain was on fire. Like, why? What did he do? How did he have this much faith? How did it work? And I've got a whole bunch of different answers for all those questions. But I just thought, Anthony, learn from this story. God is moved by faith. And I'm not talking about that preacher faith, blab it and grab it, name it and claim it, get you a new Rolls Royce, Bentley, and a Cadillac, although I would like a G-Wagon. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, look at what his faith was. He had somebody who needed a miracle. And it got me thinking of Pastor Jerry again. That boy has some faith right there. Like, he wasn't down at all.
Believe.
And I thought, man, I just was so convicted and so challenged. Like, come on, Anthony, you got to step your game up. You got to start believing for big things again.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, that's what stood out to me. In a world full of Peter, James, and Johns, be you a Roman centurion and have some faith. So anyway, anything stood out to you in Luke this last week?
Man, let me look at my Devo. I had it earlier.
Luke's chapters are so long.
I think today's was like 62 verses.
Okay, you do know
Yeah.
nobody wrote more words.
He did them. I believe.
Max, and I was reading, I'm reminded. I'm like, I'm trying to remember, like, what chapter was that? I feel like each chapter is like 3.
It is.
And I'm like,
when you listen, you're like, man, I've been listening for 10 minutes.
You have.
I've got to be. I'm Luke 15 now. No, you're still in Luke 10.
got the people writing their devos. I was like, in that chapter, let me go back. I remember reading that.
See, people, you're not alone out there. We struggle too.
Well, one of the things that I was convicted and challenged on was in Luke 6, 45. A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and the evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. And just God knowing my heart, it's like you're not fooling anybody.
But people always say, "But God knows my heart."
That's scary.
That should scare you.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, I would prefer he didn't.
I hate that saying. The two sayings I can't say. Only God can judge me, and God knows my heart. I'm
two things that you don't want.
Two things you don't want.
I would prefer him judge me,
and I'd prefer you know my heart.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I was convicted and challenged on. It's just I have to continue to pursue being healthy, and I have to continue to pursue challenging myself to just not be so prideful, and to it was just kind of like a kick in the throat. Like, when you think you've arrived, you haven't. And unfortunately, when you find out you haven't, it sucks. And I'm one of those people that often will put my foot in my mouth, and that's when I realize how bad my heart is.
Absolutely, I get it. Can I ask you guys a question? For those of you who don't know, at our church we do a women's and men's Bible study. Right now we're going through the book of Proverbs, only because you said it. You know what I feel like the little subversive theme is throughout all of Proverbs is don't be prideful.
I was going to say, stop being prideful.
Stop being prideful. I just feel like that's a little hidden gem throughout all of Proverbs, because it's always showing the foolish man or the prideful man and all the trouble the prideful and foolish man get into. And I feel like it's as if Solomon's going, hey, don't be prideful. Don't be arrogant. Nothing good comes from it. Anyway,
when you have pride, don't listen to anyone. You do what you want to do. Yeah. And that's really the hard part when you have a lot of money or power or fame. You can't listen to nobody. And there's no one to challenge you. You do whatever you want to do. Whatever feels good in the moment. Let's go do it.
And you can.
It's the thing. You can. Yeah. That's the whole thing. People are like, I wouldn't do it if I were like, well, you can't do it right now. So it's easy for you to say it.
That's what I was saying when I spoke a couple weeks ago in Proverbs. I was like, man, I'm glad that I didn't go pro and be 23 years old with a yacht and $10 million.
Or we won't say the player's name, or you'd have been that player who got caught with drugs and some call girls or show girls, whatever it was.
At a minimum.
And it's like, hello. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you're 20 years.
I love people always so self-righteous. I wouldn't do that.
You're like 22 years old. Everybody tells you you're the best thing ever.
And you just got paid like you were.
You just got paid like that. Like, yeah.
You're doing the same thing.
Well, you think about even people's like parents who like maybe they're drug dealers and they have all this money. Your parents are against that, but it's like, man, he bought us a new house. Well, you think about he's taking care of everything like that. Even those parents have to have like strong morals to say, no, we're not going to accept that. We're going to keep struggling because we don't accept what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's how they're able to like, man, my life is a lot easier. I'm just going to let him go and do it.
Yeah.
Like you have to really take a stand. in I think Luke 6, crowds are coming towards Jesus and they're touching them. It says power is leaving them. People are getting healed. And he tells the disciples, no, blessed are those, who are hungry, for they'll be satisfied. Blessed are the poor, for they'll be blessed, and they'll receive the kingdom. And it's like, man, right after that, what's the correlation? Is like those who really seek after Jesus, they're going to actually receive something. But again, you have to humble yourself. Like no matter what situation you're in, no matter how far you get, I think it's to be harder. If you don't need anything, why go to Jesus? These people needed something. Like I need the Jesus, so they're pushing forward. But as you get to a point where I can go get medicine, why do I need to pray? Like my bills are paid, why I need to pray? Like you just have no need, and you find yourself like you lacking, you seeking after Jesus. So it's like no matter what you're going through, whether good or bad, no matter if you guys bless you, you need to realize you still need a touch from Jesus. Like the money can't give you the peace. The money can't give you the joy, and don't forget that. Because the moment you stop touching him, you're going to see those things leave and wonder like, man, what happened? So this my focus is really like keep pursuing Jesus at all costs.
Man, that was good. That was really good. So I'm glad we're talking about this. And a shout out Jackson had a quote today talking about today's read. Can I just, you guys give me a second? I just want to show you this. I literally was blown away by what he said, that I just want to share this with you. It says Luke 9:20, and this was, but what about you? He asked, who do you say that I am? And Peter answered, you're God's Messiah. And Jackson in his devotional had a line today. I literally responded back to him. I said, bro, this is fire. Jesus isn't concerned about what others think about him. His only concern is, what do you think about him? And I was like, bro, if I could put the big mind-blown emoji, that's so true. Jesus is concerned about the rumors and how they get started. He ain't concerned about what people are saying. He ain't concerned about the gossip. He wants to know, what do you think about him? Because the only thing that matters right now is what you think about Jesus. What you think about Jesus. He's not concerned about what anybody else is thinking. He wants to know what you think. And I was so blown back. I literally had my own Selah moment right there. This is why I love sharing devos with people. This is why I love it. Because you end up getting these nuggets like you just gave us right now. Man, the Bible is amazing. Y'all should read it. It's incredible. It'll change your life. You get these little moments like, yeah, everybody was touching them. And he said, and if you touch me, I'll give you a little something. Why do people come to church and not get filled or not get healed? I shouldn't say not get healed, but not get filled or not feel the presence of the Lord? Because are you touching them? Are you touching them? Are you all in? Are you pressing in? Right? And then I'm the faith centurion again. I'm reading this right here like, yo, Jesus wants to know, what do you think of him today? Are you still mad? You didn't get your little raise? Are you still mad you didn't get this? Are you still mad about that? Or are you coming in and going, nope, today's a new day. I got to give me a fresh touch. I don't need no stale manna. I need some fresh pan dulce. That's what that's all about. That's the closest thing to manna right there, because the next day it ain't no good.
That's for sure. A couple hours later, it's not.
If you leave it out, that's true. So all I'm saying is we got something good like that, right? And I feel like everybody's a critic. So are you guys familiar with the Sean Ryan show?
Yes.
So he had this guy on, I don't know if I'm going to say his name right. I think it's Nathan Afiel or something like that. You'll see it, and then if you think it's said a different way. He had him on there, and he's talking about megachurch pastors and all this stuff. I'm going to show you a clip, and I'm not going to defend this David Tyler guy whatsoever, but he uses this to put down other people, right? All these other preachers. And then I'm going to show you a clip where he gets into an argument about what the church should look like. Everybody always has an opinion about what the church should look like. So I just want you to watch this first clip, and then I'm going to introduce you who he is, and then I'm going to show you this other one. Okay, but watch this right here.
David E. Taylor got busted by the FBI yesterday. He says that if you talk negatively against him, God's going to kill you. And he preys off the most vulnerable. He's raised $50 million in about the last decade. His home in Tampa, Florida, his parsonage, paid for by donors, $8.3 million, 28,000 square feet, was raided by the FBI. He has about $28 million in real estate. So he's taking money from the most vulnerable, who Christ is there to protect, technically. He owns a Bentley, Rolls Royce, all in the name of Jesus. He's got people working for free at call centers till 4 a.m. And if they don't hit their donation quota, they have to get on their knees and beg him for forgiveness.
Beg him for forgiveness?
Because he's anointed, Sean.
So they go on and on about this guy. But to me, this is real simple. He's not a pastor. He has no fruit in his life of a pastor. It's circling around now that the reason the FBI raided it was not only misappropriation of funds, but possible ties to sex trafficking. But just looking at how he's living his life and what he's doing and these things, how are you a pastor when you do all that? I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we always highlight these people who are doing nefarious things or questionable things at best. And then we want to highlight this. But what about the pastors who are pastoring churches that are really helping people with their spiritual walk? How come we don't highlight that? Why? You know what? Not that I need to tie everything football, but if you could just entertain me here just for a second. I love what Derek Brooks said one day. Derek Brooks, of course, played for Underbound in Florida State and then, of course, with Tampa. He goes, you never highlight the athletes who are doing good in the community. And he said that because work done was what? Still building homes for single moms in Louisiana. You know what I mean? Because that's a work done story. How come we don't highlight that? But no, we want to talk about the guys who get pulled over with a gun in their car doing 120. We want to talk about the guy who beats his girl. We want to plaster that everywhere, but we don't want to highlight the good. Well, what about the pastors who don't make a lot of money, who are grinding it out, who are helping families to stay together, who are really doing good in the world? We don't see that. All we do is we take the low-hanging fruit of these quacks who these people are not pastors, they're not preachers, they're not men or women of God, they're fake, and we highlight that. Am I being overly sensitive or am I making sense?
Yeah, but I think it's across the board. It's always that way. I mean, they're always going to find the negative, and that's what sells. I mean, TMZ is about all the negative. It's not about a bunch of positive stuff. So, I mean, that's what people like to watch. They want the drama.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's kind of why sometimes I get a little salty when it comes to like Christian platforms that are coming against things that are like positive. It's like, man, there's so much negative that's getting pushed out. Why are you not pushing out things that are positive? But yeah, they're looking for clicks. They're looking for things that sell. Sean Ryan's bringing this guy on. I don't know who the guy is, but they're talking about something that non-believers are going to think is interesting. So you're going to get more people who watch.
So let's go. Let's turn to the screen. So that's his Instagram page. This is another clip that I have, but hold on to that clip real quick, Nate, if you can, and go ahead and go to his page, Religion is Business, if you can. And so he has a whole bunch of these clips. And basically, he goes straight to it, and everything he starts doing is criticizing, challenging. We're going to get to this one where he has this debate with this guy. But all these things, look at the Sean Ryan one, got 398,000 clicks. And then they talk about the Epstein, and he said because preachers, and then the Hells Angels. He talks about how the government helped the church make it a business, all this stuff, right? So he does all this, and he starts calling out people. And all this stuff, but this is how he gets all his followers. He goes into Stephen Furtick on the elevation thing, really, really, really bad. But if you can, go to that one that I sent you, and pause real quick. So here's my thing. My thing is everybody who's critical like him has a way they think the church should be ran.
But they don't do nothing.
Well, here's what I would say to him. Are you running it that way? And how's it going? Are you seeing lost people won to faith? Are they changing their lives? Is it growing? Is it healthy? Anything healthy and vibrant is growing. So just watch this debate. You get a sense of who he is a little bit. Go ahead. Let's play that.
If people like it and want to go there, why do you bother?
My God, where did Jesus say in the Bible, if you like it, come? 44 cents of every dollar given to Christian organizations goes strictly to salary. 25 cents of that same dollar goes to strictly building. So we've created a very money-hungry system that just needs more and more.
Yeah, but you don't have to be part of the system. You can start your own church.
For sure. But that's not what I'm called to do. I'm called to call the institutional church back to its mission.
And what do you think is the mission?
Christ said the mission, to encourage and exhort each other to go out and make disciples of men.
So if we agree that the mission is to preach the gospel and make disciples.
Yeah. What's the building then? If the mission is to preach the gospel and make disciples, what's the building?
I'm not saying you need a building.
But the church has become the building. We talk about language with a philosopher in the show because now we don't say we are the church. We say I go to church.
I don't.
But in the average lay person who attends church, say I go to church, and what that triggers in the mind is a church is a physical location we go to.
I agree with you on that.
Okay.
I kind of learned that.
Yeah.
In Hillsong, they say you don't go to church, you are the church.
Yeah. It's fun to say that, but then when all your resources go to build the building, you've forgotten the call.
Not if you reach people.
What do you mean by reaching people, though? Like putting a big concert on, which Hillsong did really well.
Reaching people could be people making decisions to follow Christ. Being baptized, it's reaching people. And obviously, if you are a Christ follower, we are supposed to be fishers of men. So to critique those churches that are actually reaching a lot of people, which is the mission.
But what happens if you're selling, in my opinion,
why
a false gospel? You're not selling the message of Christ. You're selling an entertainment venue. You're selling an experience.
Okay, so that's that guy Nathan. That's who he is.
Can we never watch anything of his again?
Yeah.
I'm good.
What'd you think?
Oh, he's just he probably doesn't go to church on a Sunday. He just does whatever he wants. He just sits there, makes a podcast, and critiques people who are actually doing stuff. He's not a part of like making any type of change. He just wants to tell people how bad of a job they're doing.
That's what he said. He said, "I'm called to call the church back."
Yeah.
So
whatever.
he's self-proclaimed prophet then? Is that what he is? Self-proclaimed
And I would
prophet?
say it's not necessarily like a bad thing when you say, hey, there's some things that we're doing that we could do better. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't. But if you don't do anything, like, so what are you doing? Well, I'm just telling you what you're not doing right. So what are you doing? Well, nothing. Great. Awesome. Appreciate the help.
Yeah, he's be quiet. Yeah, I mean, this is stuff like people like John MacArthur said, but he also said it from a pulpit as he's pastoring the church. These are things like what people say. He just heard other people say it. Let me say it, but not be a pastor and make money off of it. Like, you're not saying anything special. Like, we understand. We say this like, hey, you're the church. We're trying to equip people to go out and be the church and change the way they live at home. But we gather together to worship the God together. Like, to say there's no value in that, it's like, what are you talking about?
What's his beef?
I don't know. Maybe his dad hit him. I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. I don't know where you got that one.
I don't know.
Hey. Not spanked enough. Spanked too much.
Or he had a bad experience at a large church, and
I don't understand. I felt like the other guy was being very sensible, just asking questions. Yeah. I thought he was being very pragmatic about it.
I thought that could have been a really good conversation.
But it was so quick to, and you know what I almost got from the other guy? Like, I'm right, you're wrong, stop being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was the whole, like, I'd love to have a debate with you, but you're not allowed to be here.
Well, no, I'd love to have a debate with you, but you're just not smart enough.
You know who made the argument for it in this room was Pastor Jerry.
Yeah.
But he's also pastors of church, and there's a balance to it. But his whole thing was like, hey, we can do these home churches. We could do, but it's just a way we can go about this. It's a very different tone.
It is, which, by the way, if I can, since you said, because I had a long conversation with him about it, it's called elephants and rabbits. Elephant gestational period is, I think, 18 months or 2 years before they have a baby. It's a very long time, where rabbits are like every 3 months. It's really, so his whole point was, what if we started with home groups, small groups that were a part of our affiliation, and as they grew and the necessity of a building arose, then we'd get the building. We could multiply those a lot faster than if we had these elephants that, yes, they're big, they're huge, they consume so much, they have really large babies, but they can only do this once every 2 years, where this we could do something once every 3 months. My thing to him is, I understand where he's coming from, where the 44 cents to every dollar goes to this and it goes to that. Here's my question though. Who set up the fact that pastors or priests shouldn't work? Whose idea was that?
That's scriptural.
That's scripture. That was God's idea. Matter of fact, the Levites weren't even allowed to own what? Land. They said, hey, you're going to eat from the land of the people. People are going to give to you because you need to do what? You need to work for me. I mean, think about it. I mean, none of us here ever, this is the funniest part, none of us here ever thought we were going to be pastors. I think all of us here still check in whether or not God wants us to be pastors. I think it's the funny. So really, he's barking up the wrong tree. Like, if you told me to quit tomorrow, I'd be like, sounds good. Here we go. I do something else. What gets me, Bishop, is God instituted this. God said, hey, I've got to have a group of people, priests, who are able to work my church. I know it was a temple, but if we could just, for layman's terms, my church, but also take care of my people. This was God's plan. This God originated. Where did it change? The same thing happened. Paul goes on to repeat that. You don't muzzle the ox while they tread the grain. A laborer is worthy of his hire. Matter of fact, could I just simply submit to you that what's going to make you a good pastor is you got to be able to share your sheep. And the only way you can share sheep is if you're feeding them green grass. Bars. That's it. So if you're not taking care of people with the right motives and the right intentions, How you going to benefit from it? This was God's original plan, not ours and not what man thought of. It's like marriage. God thought of that, not us. We need the power of the Holy Spirit. So I'm sorry you keep looking at Hillsongs for an example, or you keep looking at Elevation or whatever mega church you want to point out, the easy pickings of Joel Osteen. But dude, for the rest of us out here taking care of our flock, keeping away wolves and everything else, doing the hard work and the heavy lifting, I mean, none of us could do what we're doing effectively if we had to work a full-time job.
No, I mean, you'll see that all of our phones go off during this recording every week. And it's not always a telemarketer.
By the way, I looked down. It's like, you have 17 messages.
Yeah. And when we get done with the podcast, if you add up all the unread text messages from us, you can't do this working a full-time job somewhere else. And if you do, you don't do it as effectively.
Okay. And by the way, if it came down to it and we all had to go back to working full-time jobs and doing this.
Keyword back to what we were doing before.
We would still do it. We just wouldn't be able to do it at the level we're doing. That's just the bottom line. But
yeah,
we would do it.
I have a text right now. It's like, hey, when can you get together with me and my wife? We want to sit down and have. Well, my window would be going from here to a lot smaller.
Oh, a lot smaller.
I've got next Thursday at 11:30. Hope you're not working.
Yeah, I've got 2 Fridays from now because I got other people before you on those Fridays. Do you see where I'm going with this? God.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was before COVID. I came to you and said, I don't know if I keep doing this. Like, I was working a full-time job and then trying to it was extremely difficult. I was like, well, I kept doing it. If you had told me, no, you can't come work at the church full-time, I would, yeah, probably so. But it was extremely difficult. And now I just find myself being frustrated and angry just because, like, man, how do I balance all this? And it's hard to do.
Can I throw out one other thing? Whose idea was it to have a place of worship?
Not his.
Yeah. It was God's. He said, you're going to build me a house. Who gave the architect for the temple? God. Moses didn't concoct it. He didn't dream of it. He didn't say, hey, this is a good idea. Just the same way God gave Noah the dimensions for the ark, he gave him the dimensions. He gave to where every tribe was supposed to be during that house of meeting. God was in the details. So I don't get this. It's not like we think of. I think I hear what he's saying. I don't know. We could have him on. Maybe he'd come on. I think I hear what he's saying. But people who are so critical like that, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to have dialogue. I hear what he's saying. Like, do you really need all the fancy lights? Probably not. We probably don't. I get it. I won't argue that. But as far as needing a place for people to gather and to worship, I mean, what I don't get is I've taken you guys to Israel. In Capernaum, there was one of the largest synagogues. They were packing it out. Even post-resurrected, Christians, or post-resurrected Christ for Christians, they were packing out. Antioch were packing out. They turned it into a missionary church. They had a mega church. And it's just natural for that to happen where people want to gather, hear the word. They like the teaching that they're being fed. And they're still going out and having small groups. Why couldn't you do both? That's where do you see where I'm coming from? I don't get this. But everybody wants to criticize, but nobody wants to be a part of the solution. What's the solution? Stop having these mega churches that would give 44 cents to every dollar. Okay, then don't monetize your podcast. I mean, right? Then okay, then don't receive offerings. Don't make a movie that needs money. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. But I just think everybody's so quick to criticize the church. And the church is this, and the church is that, and the church is just ran by a bunch of people who are full of their own brokenness.
There's a church near my house that's building a coffee shop, and so one of my buddies from the gym, good guy, I like him a lot. He's like, "Hey, you gonna start going to that church? They got a coffee shop now." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's F this, F that. And I was like, oh, okay. And as he kept talking, he was just like, yeah, church is all about money. And then I said, oh, so you don't like the coffee shop? And he was like, no, they shouldn't have a coffee shop. And I said, okay, so would you prefer to go to Starbucks or would you prefer to go to that coffee shop? I mean, if I go to church there, like, I don't want to go to Starbucks. And he was like, I guess if you kind of put it like that. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm not saying every church has to have a coffee shop, but I'm also not knocking them for having one. I'm excited for when it opens up because I don't want to go to Starbucks. But all that to say, so somebody like him, if he clicks on this, all it does is just inflate his kind of viewpoint of how his negative viewpoint towards the church. And so if he's really wanting to make a change, if he's really wanting to effectively like maybe even turn people towards Christ, I don't think he's doing it.
Yeah. What's your thought?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's Mike saying that. I mean, one thing that I would love for our church to have one day is a daycare.
Yeah.
When we build out there, I was like, you see churches do it. They already have a kids facility, and you just like set it up so it could be a daycare too. I was like, man, we'll have a place, or a safe place you could take your kids, you know, their love, have a great facility to have that.
And faith-based,
and we get to hire people from our own church and provide jobs for people.
Well, the church is just all about the money, though.
Yeah, so it's like you come to that, but you realize, like, man, we're able to provide this for the community. We're able to provide this for members. How many times we're trying to find people jobs? Like, because we just want to have these resources for people. And it's like, to have those places where the church is able to do that. The thing is, when people from our church and the church they go to see these things, they love it. They're happy to see these things happen. They're excited about these things. They're excited when we redo a house so we can have other boys live there for our pipeline. Like, they're excited about it. Someone else from the outside might look, why are you guys doing that? But I think the main thing is to focus on take care of your people. Mm-hmm. He ain't got no people to take care of, so he don't know nothing.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Can I just throwing this out there? How are you supposed to pay the bills when PG&E? By the way, we live out here in Cali. PG&E is high. Can I get a witness on that? My gosh.
Can we just not pay?
No. I'm going to call him up and say, like, the Lord's going to take care of it. Just go ahead. Go to the book of Genesis, get God's name, and just hit him up one time. Jeremiah 33:3 is the hotline.
If that works, let me know. I'm going to call him too.
But, okay, so who's going to keep the lights on? Who's going to paint the building? Who's going to vacuum the rugs?
You're not supposed to have a nice building.
Okay, who's going to clean? Who's going to clean the tent of meeting? My point is, it takes money. We live in Fresno. Could you imagine being in church with no AC? People wouldn't show up.
They wouldn't be.
I don't think. Would you show? I don't know if I'd show up, because that building was 85 degrees the other day, hot. My point is, I don't understand that. I understand what he's saying about these David Taylors, but once again, you're picking on low-hanging fruit. You're picking on guys. This is not how the average pastor lives. You know, average pastor doesn't get to set his own salary. It's set for him. I don't know, but in a world full of people who are overpaid, why you pick on the pastors?
It's just clickbait for him. He's making money.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But what is it? Let me ask you this. As I see it, the only person who criticizes the church, which is Christ's bride, the only person who criticizes the church, who's always got a negative word about the church, is the devil. That's it. He's the accuser of the brethren. He's the only one who's ever got. Now, I'm not talking constructive. Do we not get together every Monday and talk about what we could do better? We talk about it. But I'm talking about being critical. There's a difference between being constructive. If you've got something constructive to say and you're about being part of the solution, let's go. I'm all ears. I want to hear it. Let's make it better. I always want to make it better. But if you're just being critical, man, you can keep it. I'm good. I'm already hard enough on myself. But I just feel like this ain't. I just feel like people. I'm done talking. I'm so done talking about it. I want to go with something positive. Let me do this, Mike, and then we'll go to you, and then I'll close. When you first started coming to church, what was one thing that stood out to you that was positive? Like, man, this was missing in my life. This something different. I like it. What stood out to you? What was one of that? And it can be anything you want. And I know this is coming from a person who had no church background. So what was it?
Something that stuck out definitely was that people were nice. I always, you always think like people are trying to get over on you. There's always somebody who's trying to one up you. And so it took me a long time to actually receive the niceness, because I was like, man, well, what do they want from me? But it definitely stuck out to me. And then as I continued to come back, it was refreshing. It was like a time where I could like put down my walls a little bit, and just relax. So having people who were just genuinely nice was a big deal.
I love it. What about you, Bishop? One thing that made you fall in love with the church, or that you loved about it?
A big thing when I was coming back to Christ was just trying to find community, like people to be around.
You stole mine, dang it.
Well, I mean, that's generally what it was. It was just hard, like sort of where I grew up was, all Hispanic or white people, like I knew. And so like I could feel a little out of place, like, okay, do I go to a black church? But a lot of times, literally, people are like, well, you're not really black. And I mean, lots of but it's funny. I'll go to like a church. I remember going to one church that's mainly white. I think I was comfortable. I think they might have felt uncomfortable. It felt like, I was like, all right, I guess you guys feel a little awkward for me being here. They didn't treat me bad at all. But I just feel that. And it could be totally me, this new person, maybe don't have a lot of new people come there. So I was just searching for that community because, like, man, I couldn't live out the faith by myself. Like, I was like, I really want to live for Christ, but I know I have some struggles, and I need other people my age around me. And so just when I found it and invited to a venture, I mean, that was the biggest thing for me. Is like, okay, just people my age who want to live for Christ as well. And that's all I was searching for. So,
man, that's good. I'm going to piggyback off that, but a little different. You know what I love about the church and what I fell in love is there were Christians everywhere, and we had a common bond. We had the cross of Christ as a thing that bridged the divide. And I'm going to tell you 2 stories real quick. So I'm in Missouri. I guess when you're from Missouri, that's how you say it. I say Missouri, but anyway, Missouri. And so I'm there, and I'm at this thing in Branson called Sight and Sound. And I'm watching the life of David in a theatrical way. I loved it. It was great. Live animals, the set scene, it was the sound. Everything was phenomenal. Simply phenomenal. Top notch. Paid a lot of money to go, but it was well worth it. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting next to a guy. These are all Christians in here for the most part. I'm sitting next to a guy, and we started chopping it up, and we started having this conversation. And his name's Bob. He's from Wichita. He sees every play they ever put out, him and his wife. He leans over, and I said, Bob, he goes, yeah, been married. He asked me why I'm here. I said, I'm going to do a wedding. He says, yep, been married 62 years.
Oh, dang.
I was like, and I made a joke. I'm like, man, that's what happens when you get married in grade school or what? He goes, well, she was 14. Woo! Okay, this is how we do it back then. All right,
Bob.
That's good. We've been married a long time. And so I go, hey, so we start laughing, start talking. He tells me about all the grandkids, great grandkids, the whole 9. I go, hey, Bob, I'm doing a wedding, right? Give me some. What can I tell the bride and groom? Give me a little secret sauce here. Give me a little something. He goes, well, the man's got to be right too every now and then. I start laughing. And his wife punches him in the arm, Bob, and I thought, man, that's good. I was like, hey, man, did you hear that? I got to be right every now and then too. So sure enough, we start laughing. We start having a good old time. And I'm like, man, that's why I love Jesus. 2 people who don't know each other under the banner of Christ. 2 people who really love Christ. It is the cross of Christ. It binds us. We got nothing else in common. He couldn't be more Midwestern. I couldn't be more Cali. You know what I mean? And so I'm at the wedding. I'm doing this wedding. And I tell the groom that I said, hey, I met Bob from Wichita. This is advice to you too. Hey, I said, hey, Justin's got to be right every now and then too. And the crowd starts laughing, just having a good time. So, there's a Buc-ee's in Kansas, in Missouri. And I found it. It was right outside Branson. And so Mandy and I, we beeline to Buc-ee's. You got to go to Buc-ee's. You got to go. It's Buc-ee's. And so we've been to Buc-ee's in 3 states now. We're all excited. And so I have my All Praise shirt on. And I'm standing in line, and Miss Shipley from Osceola, Missouri, or something. I don't even know how to say the name, Osceola, Missouri or something. She comes up and she goes, hey, that shirt, where did you get that shirt? And I'm like, shout out Adventure Worship. I said, well, this shirt's part of our worship team, and it's a song. It's a worship song that my church wrote. She goes, I just love your shirt. We want to order one. We got to have a shirt like this. And so I give them information. I said, well, it's a song. It's All Praise. It's a very beautiful worship song written by a very talented young man. And so in our worship team, it's recorded. She goes, where do I find it? So I'm in line trying to check out. They're trying to get my money. And Mandy tells her to YouTube. And I walk outside, and we gave her the information. I'm like, nah, man, I can't shake it. I bring her over, Sandra. And I said, hey, I tell you what, just give me your address. I'll send you a shirt. I'll get it for you. And her sister, I didn't know it was her sister, but she tells me, hey, it's my sister. I can't believe you do that for us. She goes, this is our first time ever doing a girls' trip. And my other sister passed away not too long ago. And she said, so we kind of like, doing this before it gets to it. And I'm just like, I'm trying not to cry. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I can get you a shirt. And it's just like, that's why I love doing what I do. Right? I made these 2 women's day just from a shirt. Yeah. I get their address and I send it to Kim like, hey, we got to get this mailed out. Like that's Jesus. Jesus bridges that gap socioeconomically, culturally, right? Jesus bridges all those things that would make us enemies or to make us different. Jesus bridges that gap. You know why I love the church? Because this is what the church does. When the church is firing on all 8 cylinders and it's functioning as the church should, that's kingdom, baby. That's what John said. And I saw in heaven from every tribe and every tongue and from all over the world, people getting together under who? The name of Jesus, because that's what it's all about. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Peace. I'm out.